Hello everyone, this is part 13 of What If Naruto Was Reborn as Kyuubi, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Karen, Sugetsu, and Jugo stood outside of a cave. They all looked into the cave to wait for anything to suspicious. After a while, Sasuke walked out of the cave. Well, Karen asked, did you K him? It wasn't him. Sasuke answered, it was just a bunshin. Sasuke sheathed his sword back. Looks like we still have a lot to do. Why don't we go to Orochimaru's hideout? Sugetsu sacked, I'm sure he has some stuff about Akatsuki. He might have stuff on where they gather. Why go to him? Karen asked. It'll save time. Sugetsu said, and that way I can stop seeing you 24 out of 7. Why you? Karen prepared to punch the large sword-wielding teen. Stop. Sasuke commanded, we've been searching for Itachi for over 3 years now. All we've been following were clues that I had. I think Sugetsu might have a point. Let's use Orochimaru's clues to find him. Well, we're in the Wind Country. Karen said, there should be one of his hideouts near the border between the forest and the desert. Good, we'll start there. Sasuke said, Karen, you lead the way. Jugo, keep in contact with those birds. What about me? Sugetsu asked. Keep your mouth shut for the trip. Karen said. The team gathered around a fire that was set up for the night. Kakashi poked at the fire with a stick to keep it burning brightly. While Kiba was sleeping comfortably using a Kamaru as a pillow, Sakura and Naruto prepared their sleeping bags. I think I'm gonna go off now. Naruto said, getting up from the ground. Where are you going? Sakura asked. Naruto unsheathed the katana, I need to work on this thing. He walked in the dark forest, disappearing in the shadows. Sakura sat back down by the fire, warming herself from the heat. Kakashi noticed how she was looking upset, but chose to ignore it. For over an hour, Kakashi and Sakura didn't say anything, and Naruto hadn't returned. He was probably very dedicated to mastering the katana. I know you're worried about Naruto, Sakura. Kakashi said, breaking the silence. I just wish I could be of more help to him. Sakura said, after a few seconds. If only I knew a way to help him suppress the Kyuubi, he wouldn't be in so much trouble. She remembered back when she first witnessed the horrible sight of Naruto's power of Kyuubi. Seeing him coated in the chakra, with the 3 tails was frightening enough, but seeing the 4th tail, it made her cringe in fear. I just hope I can find a way to help him eventually. Maybe in a few years, I can create a jutsu that can be as helpful as Captain Yamato's jutsu. A few years. Kakashi objected to saying what was in his mind, but thought it was best to tell her, seeing as how she cared so much about him. Sakura, you may not have a few years. What? I wasn't planning on telling you, but you would have eventually found out anyways. Kakashi said, what you know about the Kyuubi is that it gives Naruto an extremely large amount of power. But what you don't know is that it does more than just hurt him in return. He remembered Jiraiya's words on his experience with Naruto and the Kyuubi. Every time Naruto becomes the 4-tailed beast, the chakra burns his skin, damaging his cells. The Kyuubi's healing regenerates the cells, forming a cycle of damage and repair. Because of this rapid process, Naruto's lifespan is shortened. Sakura threw a hadon to her mouth as she gasped, his lifespan. After what happened at Suna, I went to Suna to ask about his condition. Kakashi continued. He didn't know how else to say his next words carefully. Naruto probably won't live past 40. If he taps into the Kyuubi's power once more, he may even in the next few years. No. Sakura couldn't hold back her tears. She couldn't control herself. She got up and ran to where Naruto had disappeared off to. Naruto. Come on. Naruto concentrated hard, holding the katana tightly. A blue wave of chakra formed on the blade, slowly getting straighter at where the sharp side is meant to be. A little more. As he concentrated his wind chakra into the blade, it finally straightened. He looked towards a tree that was left with many dents on it, all from Naruto, testing how strong his wind chakra is in the katana. He ran towards the tree and at it. At the instance the chakra met with the wood, a large explosion came from the impact and threw Naruto back. Damn it. Still not sharp enough. He looked back at what Asuma told him about making wind chakra stronger, split the chakra in two and bring the parts together to form a tight edge. He repeated the words in his mind as he concentrated once more. Naruto. Ha! Naruto looked to where the voice was coming from. That sounded like Sakura. Before long, Sakura had emerged from the shadows. The moonlight reflected the tears that were flying off her face. Why is she crying? Sakura ran towards Naruto, not stopping until she reached him. She then reached out and wrapped her arms around him, and began to cry even more. Why? Why did you have to be like this? Sakura, what's going on? Naruto asked, utterly confused at the moment. The sudden force of Sakura jumping into his arms had him drop the katana. Sakura pulled herself away to look at Naruto straight in the eyes. Why did the Kyuubi have to be sealed in you? Why do you have to suffer for it? She wiped the tears from her eyes. Kakashi-sensei told me everything about the Kyuubi. He told me how it's hurting you, how it's shortened your lifespan, how you might die soon. Sakura. Sakura looked down at his hands and saw how damaged they were. Naruto. He took his hands and brought them closer for her view. I'll be fine, Naruto said. Before their eyes, the hand slowly healed and left it with a markless hand. See. He kneeled down and picked up the katana. You should go back and get some sleep. I'll be there later. Sakura sniffed and wiped the remaining tears off her eyes. All right. She turned and walked back, but stopped abruptly. Naruto, I've never had siblings before and I never knew what it felt like to have one. She turned around to face him. You were the first person that I was able to see as family. Naruto smiled at this. All the more reason for me to keep fighting. Good night, Naruto. Sakura smiled. She headed back to the campsite, disappearing in the shadows of the trees. Naruto focused his attention on his katana again. A reason to keep fighting. He promised Sakura that he would bring Sasuke back home. He promised her that and he would never turn back on his promise. He charged the blade with wind chakra, forming it into a sharp aura of blue. He looked back at the tree that had many small dents around it. He ran towards the tree with the will to attack. If I plan to keep my promise, I need to be strong. He swung the blade and at the tree. Strangely, it left no mark. Did I miss? He looked at the tree for a closer examination. Suddenly, the tree began to shift out of place. The top of the tree slid off the trunk and fell over. Wow. Naruto looked at the S he made on the tree that caused the fall. He threw his hand up in the air, holding his katana high in the night sky. Yatta. Team Snake was now walking through a forest, staying close. How much farther? Sugetsu asked. Not much further. Karen answered, irritated that she had answered that question for the 30th time since they made the hideout the next destination. We won't even be in there for long. We just need to go in, get the info we need, and get out. There may be trouble when we get there. Sasuke said. The others stopped in their tracks. Why? Jugo asked. Uzumaki Naruto. Sasuke answered, he's still blind. That hideout is where Orochimaru kept his eyes. If he knows about that, he'll probably be there. So, you mean we might get a chance to see him? Sugetsu asked. Let's hope not. Sasuke said, if we find him there, I'll go alone. That's the place. Pakken said, there's a doorway hidden under that tree. You'll have to find a way to get in. The team gathered behind a bush as they looked at a tree that Pakken pointed out. It looked like any ordinary tree, nothing that gave away the fact that it was the device to open the doorway to the hideout. Thank you, Pakken. Kakashi said, that'll be all for now. Well, in that case, I'll be off. Pakken said, see ya. He disappeared in a puff of smoke. We'll have to find a way to get in without being seen. Kakashi said. I can handle that. Naruto said, I can get us in through there without getting caught, we just need to stay in physical contact with each other. But how do we get in? Sakura asked. Orochimaru probably used some sort of seal. You can always break it down. Kakashi suggested, and if Naruto is right, they won't be able to notice us. Sakura huffed in defeat. She had hoped that this would be a quiet, easy mission, but with the use of her strength, things might end up more difficult if there was sound inside. She approached the tree that was the entrance to the hideout, preparing for one of her strong-powered punches. She charged at the tree, swinging her arm back, preparing to unleash the large burst of chakra. She launched her fist forward and connected with the tree. The powerful force held the tree off its roots and out of the way. As Pakken had said, the entrance was hidden by the tree. Where the tree used to be, a stairway was hidden, which led to a tunnel. This is it, Kakashi said. He turned to Naruto, you ready? Okay, everybody, hang on to me and don't let go. Naruto said. Kiba and Kakashi put a hand on Naruto's shoulder and Kiba kept his extra hand on Akamaru. Sakura held onto Naruto's hand. Alright. Naruto took a deep breath and concentrated. He focused all his chakra to extend out to the others, covering them with his invisibility. Before long, they all faded from view. Let's go. Only the sound of footsteps were heard, which were the footsteps of the Konoha shinobi, entering the hideout. Take it slow. Kakashi whispered, we don't want any mistakes. An empty hall was where they were, except it remained empty with them being invisible. As they went through doors and turned past corners, they avoided sound nins as safely as possible. Further down the place, they saw two sound nin in the hall. They thought it was best to go another way, but when they made a turn to go back, Kiba lost his footing from bumping into Sakura and fell. With his contact on Naruto broken, he was now in plain sight. Hey, how did he get in here? A sound asked, noticing Kiba. No use in hiding now. Naruto said. He pulled himself away from the grip of the others and they all reappeared into sight. He drew out his katana and charged up the blade with his wind chakra. Come and get it. The sound nin attacked the Konoha shinobi. Each of them held the ground against their enemies. With their training and experience in battle, they knew that sparing their lives was not an option. They needed to make sure they stayed down, so K was the only option. While the others relied on kunais, Naruto used his wind-powered katana to make the K blows. Even after K so many sound nin, they just kept coming. Everyone, get behind me. Kakashi called out. He put his hands together to make 3 animal seals. The seals formed a large body of electricity in Kakashi's right hand. Quickly. Everyone ran back and gathered behind their team leader. With the team now a perfect place away from him, Kakashi ran forward to unleash his powerful jutsu. Reikiri. Kakashi's attack see through all that stood in his way. Each of the sound nin were thrown back by the blow and their bi spilled on the walls and floor. Naruto watched the whole attack in amazement. Genius. Ha! Kiba heard Naruto's mutter. Kakashi knew that this would work. He knew that the attack would clear the way for us. Naruto said, he created the Reikiri as his own jutsu. The attack is meant for the user to run fast in a straight line, preventing them from looking nowhere else except forward. And since we're in a narrow hallway, he doesn't need to look anywhere else, his target can't go anywhere except directly in front of him. With the last of the sound nin down, Kakashi stood at the end of the hall with the electricity on his hand fading away. Let's keep moving. Right. The others ran towards Kakashi as they went further into the hideout and closer to finding Naruto's eyes. They walked deeper into the place, searching each room for any sign of Naruto's eyes, but each room gave them nothing. As they went further down, Naruto stopped the group. Wait. Naruto pressed his hand on the wall and amplified his chakra into it. Through his sense of sight, his chakra laced through the walls, floors, and ceiling. The chakra reached far off and showed an anomaly at the corner ahead of them. We've got sound nin coming this way. I'll deal with this. He walked ahead to the corner and took out his katana. He waited patiently for the sound nin to get close enough. Once he heard their footsteps in perfect range, he attacked. He spun around and the first sound nin and pushed him back to knock down the others. As the sound nin attempted to surround him, Naruto kicked them all back. Continuing to push ahead, he made a large thrust that forced the sound nin to fall back. The two entered a door and broke through. Naruto got off of the sound nin and looked around. He found himself in a room with many strange equipment. He looked ahead and saw what was on a table there. In a large jar, he saw 2 small orbs floating around in the container filled with liquid. Naruto. Sakura arrived on the scene. Are you alright? She saw what Naruto was looking at and she too was surprised. The others came to the room to see what happened. They all had saw that Naruto's eyes had finally been found. This is it. Naruto smiled in victory. I found them. Stop. A sound nin stood between Naruto and the table. He pulled out a kunai against Naruto. Get out of my way. Naruto demanded. He pulled out his katana. I'll let you live if you just move. You won't get past me. The sound nin said, not even if you K me. Fine. Naruto lifted his katana up, preparing for a mid-level swipe. Kakashi quickly noticed something on the sound nin. Under the uniform, there were many things underneath the clothes. Naruto, stop. It was too late. The blade had met with the F and the sound nin fell to the floor in defeat. Naruto sheathed his sword back and stood over his enemy. What he didn't expect was that the sound nin started to laugh. What's so funny? The sound nin still laughed. You are one stupid S. You know that. Struggling through the pain, he removed his shirt, revealing what was underneath his clothes. All over his body were explosive tags. Looks like you'll all be S with me. He closed his eyes as he triggered the tags. A large explosion erupted the room, followed by fire and dust flying all over the place. Naruto quickly moved back away from serious damage. Get out of here, Kakashi yelled. Sakura, Kiba, and Akamaru quickly bolted out the door and towards the exit. Kakashi was on his way out, but noticed that Naruto was still in his place. Naruto was trying to find a way to get to his eyes, trying to get past the fire. As Kakashi ran towards him, more rumbling occurred. There must be explosive tags laced throughout the whole hideout. He saw that Naruto was not going anywhere. We have to go, Kakashi ordered. Not without my eyes, Naruto yelled back. He found himself an opening through the fire and took the chance, but Kakashi grabbed Naruto and carried him off. Let me go. He forced himself to get loose of Kakashi's grip, but had no luck. I'm not going to leave you here. Kakashi ran off to reach the exit. Debris flew around from the multiple explosions that came out of the walls, but he avoided them all in time to stay away from serious injuries. Sakura, Kiba, and Akamaru waited outside the hideout for their two teammates. Sakura held her hands together, praying that they would come out safely. She then saw two figures come out of the hole in the ground. Kakashi and Naruto bursted out of the darkness and away from the opening. A sudden large explosion erupted from the hole and consumed it with fire. Naruto got on his feet and saw what had happened. He ran towards the fire, but another explosion stopped him in his tracks. He covered his face with his hands, waiting for the fire to rest down, but it never did. No. Naruto threw his sword down to the ground in fury. He kneeled before the large pyre that was made from the destruction of the hideout. It was now gone. His eyes were gone. Now he was to forever live his life without the colors of the world. Everything around him would now seem lifeless to him. He pounded his fist on the grass in fury, failing his mission. But when he s his fists for the last time, he felt something out of place. He struck a large clump of dirt. He ran his finger through the dirt, noticing that it was fresh and not natural, which meant that someone recently dug into the ground. He began to dig into the dirt, wondering what was under. Naruto, what are you doing? Sakura asked. She got no response as Naruto kept digging. Naruto. It's here, Naruto said. He slowly pulled out a large jar that was buried in the dirt. Is that? Kiba looked at the jar and the contents inside. Naruto looked in astonishment at his treasure. He had finally found it. After 3 years, what was once his is finally back in his possession. He had finally found his eyes. Kakashi, Kiba, and Akamaru sat outside the tent with the fire to keep them warm. Inside the tent, Sakura was in the middle of planting Naruto's eyes back in. Since she's never done something like this before, she needed to take as much time as she could and use exact precision. It's been an hour now and the two of them haven't left the tent yet. You sure Sakura can do this? Kiba asked. I trust her, Kakashi said. She'll do her best, knowing that it's for Naruto. Moments later, the tent opened up and Sakura came out. She turned back and gently pulled out Naruto, who was still wearing his blindfold. Watch your step, Naruto. What's wrong? Kiba asked. I thought he can see. Well, when I put his eyes back in, he suddenly wasn't able to see through chakra anymore. Sakura answered. She reached up and removed the blindfold off of Naruto's face. Naruto, can you see me? Naruto slowly opened his eyes. When he did, he saw a very blurry image in front of him, but there was light, there was color, there was life. Naruto. Sakura asked again, can you see me? Naruto paused briefly. Yes. Hinata woke up to a bright sun that shined through her bedroom window. She had already washed up, and was looking outside. Something about the sunlight made her feel that something good had happened. She looked at the clock on her wall and knew that it was now time for breakfast. She left her room and made her way to meet the rest of her family for breakfast. Team Snake had gathered in the forest, sitting around waiting for Sasuke's return. He was gone for quite a while, it seemed like hours. He then appeared from the shadows of the trees. "Where have you been?" Karen asked. "I told you to not worry," Sasuke bluntly answered. "So, how did it go?" Sugetsu asked. "Did you find anything?" "No," Sasuke responded, "the hideout is gone." What do you mean, gone?" Karen asked. "It's blown away," Sasuke said. "I'm guessing Naruto and his team got there before me." "Then why don't we take him out?" Sugetsu asked. He held onto the handle of his sword, which was resting on the grass next to him. "I haven't K anything for a long time." "No," Sasuke snapped, "we move now." "Why?" "I have my reasons," Sasuke answered. "Now let's go. I don't want to run into Naruto right now. With the hideout now in flames, we're gonna have to find another place for clues." Karen said, "We could always try the one where you found Sugetsu. Isn't that gonna be a far walk from here?" Sugetsu groaned. He took another sip of his drink. "If that's the case, then let's move," Sasuke ordered. "But wait, why didn't we look around there before we ever left?" Sugetsu asked. "Because I needed to find Karen and Jugo," Sasuke answered. He patted the handle of his chokuto lightly. "Any more questions?" Sugetsu cringed slightly. He wasn't intimidated by Sasuke before. What makes him scared now? The team got up and followed Sasuke through the forest, to the direction of another one of Orochimaru's hideouts. Sakura got out of her sleeping bag and saw that Naruto was on a tree branch, looking up at the sky. His shirt was hanging at the end of the branch as well as his forehead protector. Sakura went up to the tree and jumped up to join Naruto. Once she was at the same level as Naruto, she noticed that he wasn't wearing his black shirt. All he had was his pants and sandals. On a branch nearby, his shirt hanged on with his forehead protector and his orange sash. "Naruto!" Sakura called for his attention. "Are you alright?" Naruto had been looking around the place for the entire time since he woke up. Everything around him brought back the memories of colors and the beauty of the world. The color of the trees, the grass, the sky, his own skin. "I can finally see again." Naruto smiled as he looked up at the blue sky. "I almost forgot what the sky looked like." He then looked over to Sakura. "I can finally see the pink in your hair. Now I'll be able to see Hinata in true colors again." "Well, I'm sure Hinata would be happy to know that," Sakura said. "Which is why we should get back to Konoha as quickly as possible." Hinata, he would finally be able to see her again, not through chakra projection, through his own two eyes. He could picture the look on Hinata's face when she sees him with his eyes back. He couldn't help but smile at the thought of how Hinata would be to see Naruto back to his old self again. "Yeah, I guess." Naruto smiled at Sakura. "And put a shirt on." Sakura smiled back and giggled softly. "Fine." Naruto looked over to where his shirt was resting and extended a hand out, but what he was confused about was that his shirt wasn't moving towards him. "What gives? What's wrong?" Sakura asked. "Look." Naruto reached out to pull his shirt towards him with his chakra, but nothing happened. "Why is nothing happening? Maybe we should ask Kakashi-sensei about it right away," Sakura said. "Then let's hurry back and tell him." Naruto leaned forward and grabbed his shirt. It seemed like too much of an effort to move closer to the target than to bring the target towards him. Maybe he's been using that technique too many times, maybe he's getting lazy. He crawled over to the branch and grabbed the remainder of his clothes. "I'm sorry, Naruto," Kakashi said with sympathy. "I really don't know what the problem is." Naruto had just explained the issue with his lack of techniques. Kakashi, of course, was curious as to why Naruto suddenly lost one of his many self-obtained techniques. "Let's head back to Konoha. Maybe Tsunade-sama might have some answers for you." "Yeah, maybe," Naruto said. "Hey wait, where's Kiba? And Akamaru?" Kakashi suddenly realized that he didn't notice it either. "I don't know. I thought he was with me." Kiba and Akamaru then arrived from the forest, panting for air. "What happened?" Naruto asked. "Where have you two been?" Kiba continued to breathe heavily. Akamaru ran off, following a scent. He paused to catch his breath some more. I followed him and also noticed the scent. What scent? Kakashi asked. I think it's Sasuke's. Kiba responded after another few short breaths. Hinata had finished her breakfast and was on her way back to her bedroom. She remembered that she was to meet with Shino for training later today, but she still had time to prepare. She looked at a picture of Naruto that she had on her nightstand. It was in a frame with a glass cover over the picture. She never really got it herself, or from Naruto. She actually asked Kiba to try and get a picture of Naruto for her. It was when she was 13, she was still very shy around him. Naruto still had his childlike smile, but it still made her feel so warm inside. She picked up the picture and held it in her hand. Team Snake continued with their journey through the forest. While they walked, Karen stopped. The others stopped when they noticed Karen wasn't with them. What's wrong now? Sasuke asked. Someone's coming. Karen said, there's 4 people and a dog coming this way. How far are they? Sasuke asked. Not too far. Karen answered. Sugetsu pulled out the sword from his back in delight. Perfect, a fight. I can finally K something again. No. Sasuke commanded. Just keep going. We'll try and lose them. Jugo suddenly started to go through his K impulses again. Urge. To kill. Rising. Jugo stop. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, but a sudden grab on his shoulders stopped him from doing anything more. We have to go. Karen said. What about Jugo? Sugetsu asked. Leave him. Karen pulled Sasuke along as Sugetsu regrettably followed. Jugo was now left alone to lose himself to his K urge. As Hinata held the picture, the glass suddenly cracked. She looked at this in confusion. She didn't put any force on the picture. Why did the glass crack all of a sudden? She wasn't the kind of person who believed omens or luck. She simply assumed that the glass was weak and that a small amount of pressure from her hands caused the crack. I can sense it. We should be getting close. Kiba said. He led the team to Sasuke's scent. Stay close. Naruto, Kakashi, and Sakura followed closely behind Kiba and Akamaru. When they heard Kiba saying he picked up the familiar scent of Sasuke, they had him pick it up so he can follow it. What they didn't expect was to meet with Jugo on the way. While the team was still far off, Jugo prepared for his prey. A girl. No, a boy. Jugo contemplated with himself. No wait, a girl. Girls are easier to K. No, but boys are more fun to K. Without Sasuke to help him, he couldn't control himself from K people. Karen said a dog was with them. Maybe after K them, I'll eat the dog. As he heard their footsteps closer, he debated on his choice. A girl. If it's a girl, I K her. We're getting closer to something. Kiba said, I think it's Sasuke. Sakura couldn't hold in her impulse to see Sasuke again. She bolted past Kiba and Akamaru and ran in front of them, wanting to be the first person to see Sasuke again. When she ran past a tree, she wasn't too pleased to see someone else in his place. This other person was Jugo. Like I said, I'd K a girl. Jugo screamed with a psychotic laugh. Sucks to be you. The left side of his body was now covered in his transformation. His left arm changed into what appeared to be a large hammer. He ran towards Sakura, swinging his left arm high up ready to drop it. Sakura quickly jumped out of the way of the giant hammer arm. The S caused a giant crater on the ground and a large dust cloud. Naruto, Kakashi, Kiba, and Akamaru stopped in their tracks when the sudden attack rumbled throughout the forest. Jugo went for another swing with his hammer, but Sakura's speed saved her life after each swing. What the hell is that? Naruto asked, staring at Jugo in shock. Jugo made another swing with his giant hammer arm. This time, he knocked at a tree with his swing. Sakura blocked the tree, but because of this, she was hit by the hammer. Sakura fell to the ground from the hit, grabbing her left arm in pain. Jugo stood over Sakura, with his diabolical grin and partially transformed body. Bye-bye. He said with a gleeful tone. He raised his giant hammer arm up, ready to flatten her down. Sakura closed her eyes and waited for her death, but the sudden grunt of someone made her open her eyes. She looked up and saw Naruto standing over her, holding the hammer up. Naruto strained hard to keep the hammer from crushing him and Sakura. Leave Sakura alone. Naruto growled, or I'll L you apart. Sakura stayed on the ground, right underneath Naruto as he forced the hammer up. Jugo's strength was powerful, and with the weight of the hammer, it all seemed to be against Naruto. Sakura, get up, Naruto said. But Naruto, you. Sakura knew that Naruto had no chance against Jugo. She felt the pain from his hammer swing and was lucky that it wasn't a complete hit, otherwise, she would be S. She watched helplessly as Naruto was holding the hammer up, but she refused to remain helpless. She got on her knees and lunged right by Naruto and punched Jugo right at his thigh. The immense chakra in the punch forced Jugo to stumble. Naruto quickly stepped back to keep away from Jugo's hammer. Jugo grabbed his thigh in pain, but fought through it as he got up. I'm definitely gonna KO you for that. No, Naruto roared loudly. A large burst came out of his body and knocked over everyone around him. All the trees that were surrounding him bent back from the force. When everything settled, Naruto stood with a burning coat of chakra, forming two tails behind him. Naruto. Sakura knew that this led to trouble. Jugo was indeed a strong opponent, and if Naruto was pushed too far, he may tap into the Kyuubi's power even more and go into a transformation beyond the four tails. If he did, his lifespan would shorten even more. Naruto growled deeply as he stared at Jugo. He prepared for a lunge, but he suddenly stopped at the scream of someone. Naruto, don't! Sakura screamed. He looked back to her, she was on her knees and crying. Please, don't use the Kyuubi. She knew that if Naruto went any further in his anger, the Kyuubi would take complete control over him again. He would lose himself to the beast. She cried more, knowing that Naruto was willing to risk his life to save her and the others. For the first time in his life, Naruto showed a sense of sadness from under the cloak of the Kyuubi. Every time he's tapped into the Kyuubi's power, he always appeared angry and ruthless. This was the first time he has ever shown an emotion aside from anger. Naruto's mind was still conscious in his two-tailed state. He knew why Sakura was crying, but he couldn't stop for her. He knew that he had to rely on Kyuubi, to risk his life and possibly S, for fate was never too kind to him. He charged at Jugo, he threw up his arm to defend himself. The immense pressure Naruto sent at Jugo forced Jugo to slid on the ground as Naruto kept pushing through. You're strong, brat, Jugo said, but you'll need more to stop me. He pulled his arm back and swung it vertically. The giant hammer hit Naruto and sent him flying across the forest, disappearing in the trees. His attention turned back to Sakura. Now, where was I? Before he could strike another K blow, a large shockwave emitted through the trees, held them all off from their roots. The shockwave came in repeat times, forcing everyone to hold the ground. Jugo s his hammer arm on the ground to keep him from moving. Kakashi, Kiba, and Sakura pinned a kunai to the ground to stay in their spot. Akamaru clawed into the dirt to stay in place. Once the shockwave stopped, all that was left was a barren field with no sign of green. Jugo looked up and saw that Naruto was still alive from the hit. Still alive, but what he saw now was a beast that was completely covered in what was colored like B. No. Kakashi witnessed what was before them all. Naruto has reached his four-tail state once more. Your fancy tricks don't scare me. Jugo ran at the beast, slowly changing his hammer arm into a giant axe. As Jugo came running at the four-tailed fox, it zipped past him and appeared behind the raging monster. Jugo quickly turned around to strike at the tailed beast. With his large bladed arm, he swiped. The fox grabbed the blade with its hands and a struggle took place. With Jugo trying to land a hit and the fox trying to move the blade aside. Deep inside the fox's mind, Naruto was in a struggle. With his power to try and control the fox, but the Kyuubi's power to pour out as much power as possible. Eventually, the power of Kyuubi overwhelmed Naruto, more power came out. From the four tails that the fox had, each of them split into two, giving off a total of 8 tails. The fox roared so loudly that the ground around them all began to rumble. Jugo staggered back from it and was met with a swipe in the face by one of the 8 tails. No. Naruto. Sakura looked with a heavy heart when the fox took over Naruto's body once more. She knew that this could possibly be the last straw before Naruto's lifespan came to its end. The fox looked around for Jugo, but he was nowhere to be seen. All that was left was a large hole where Jugo fell. Suddenly, from below, Jugo came out and made a swipe with his axe hand, but the fox dodged the blow and landed another hit at Jugo with one of its tails. Jugo flew back and landed hard on the ground. As the eight-tailed beast marched to its target, a sudden jolt of a strange feeling came upon it. In an instant, the B-red chakra slowly faded away. It almost appeared as if Naruto managed to force the chakra back inside. Beneath the chakra was Naruto's burnt body, which slowly healed as the chakra faded. He looked at his body in question. What? The same sudden jolt came back, but this time, it hurt him. Naruto grabbed his C in pain. What's happening? Jugo, who was still on his rampage, stopped to see what had happened. The eight-tailed fox was now gone, leaving Naruto in its place. Naruto. Sakura was surprised by how Naruto was able to force the chakra back, but was concerned when Naruto was grabbing his C in pain. Naruto fell on his knees as the pain was getting worse in him. His blue eyes slowly changed into the red eyes. Congratulations, brat. A darker, more sinister voice came out of Naruto's lips. His head tilted back as if he was looking up to the sky. Your lifespan's been depleted. What? Kakashi asked in question. It can't be. Naruto's eyes changed back into being blue. His body fell limp, his hand fell off from grabbing his C and he fell to the ground, face first. Sakura had finally realized that Naruto's strength wasn't the reason for the suppression of the Kyuubi's chakra. Naruto! Sakura screamed. Everyone who had witnessed the sight was clear in realization. Uzumaki Naruto was X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.